I want to bring in Dana Kennedy. She's a senior reporter at the New York Post and has been covering this case very closely. People probably, Dana, don't understand what that humor was about, but he used sort of a dirty word to suggest, well, I'm not a baby. I'll go out in a blizzard if that's what you're accusing me of. It wasn't that he was laughing at murder. I want to make sure everybody realizes this is a very serious case. But this business of the evidence collection, what the heck happened in the courtroom when they started to suggest that blood evidence was collected in party cups and put into used shopping bags that were left open and transported back to the cop shop?
Well, this, as you pointed out when you started talking about this has the air of, the Three Stooges or the Keystone Cops doing a police investigation. I mean, we've been at this. There have been 22 witnesses for the prosecution so far, Ashley, and they seem to be more like witnesses for the defense. They've only really been good for the defense. Nothing here makes any sense. Putting blood in Solo cups in a Stop and Shop bag, blowing the evidence area away with a leaf blower. Ashley, this sounds crazy, but it's almost as if they're not even trying to put forth a good prosecution. They're just almost doing this as if it's okay if Karen Read is acquitted, because that actually could save the cops that the defense thinks are guilty. You following me here? Because if she doesn't get convicted, really, that's a conspiracy theory within a conspiracy theory. At this point, given how this is playing out, you can't blame me for thinking that.
It's super backwards, but I get it. And weirdly today, it seemed like there was a lot of give and take. I mean, here we were looking at leaf blowers and Solo cups with evidence, but at the same time, there was some, I think, strong evidence. Prosecutors had texts and voicemails, apparently, that showed that their relationship was on the rocks. And I think that John's niece was in court saying that they fought a whole bunch, that he had tried to end the relationship repeatedly. How strong was all of that, though, given all the other stuff that we've been seeing that seems to, sway in Karen Read's favor?
Yeah, we've obviously known about the texts and the emails and the calls before and after that evening, or that early morning hour, I should say. I don't think that has as much sway, considering how many witnesses, including people that were at those two bars in Canton the night this all happened, all said they seemed very lovey-dovey. There was no bickering. I mean, you definitely can have a tumultuous relationship that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end in murder.
No, and I think most people watching, would say that, except for if a lawyer is suggesting that, and you're on a jury panel, and it's made out to be a bigger narrative than perhaps it is. But fascinating. I'm going to have you back because the case isn't over yet and it's getting close. So thank you, Dana Kennedy. Appreciate it as always. And now I want to bring in Fil Waters. I love Phil as well because he is a retired homicide detective in Houston who's investigated more than 400 homicide cases. So I am curious to get your take about the Solo cups and the used grocery bag and the failure to close it, leave it open, carry it back to the station open. What do you make of that?
Well, good evening, Ashley. This is quite a story here you've got me on. I tell you what, I look at all of these cases objectively, and I will tell you, in this particular case, I've watched some of the testimony, and I have kind of followed how this thing is starting to play out. And you got to go back to the beginning on this kind of stuff. So Lieutenant Lank, who was the detective at the time with Canton PD, that makes that scene, and he calls the state police, and they are the ones that are supposed to investigate an unattended death, and they say, we're not making the scene. We're not going to process the scene. And evidently that department is so small that they do not have the capability or the resources to process a scene properly. So given that, he thinks outside of what he's not able to do and comes up with a way to gather some evidence, to recover some evidence. And so he goes to the neighbor, apparently, and gets these red Solo cups. Now, I think that's pretty inventive. I would never be in a situation like that, but that was pretty quick thinking on his part to retrieve some blood evidence out of snow that is going to melt. So he puts it in the cups. Now, the only problem I see with the solo cups is that he didn't put covers on them. And were they used or were they fresh out of the package? So that would be my only question there. Now, in regards to putting in the paper bag, even if they'd have had the proper plastic containers to recover that stuff, that evidence is going to be put in a paper bag. It doesn't matter if it's got a grocery store on the front of it or the Canton PD in front of it. So that part of it, not a big deal. Now, the fact that he didn't seal that bag up, that's a problem in terms of gathering evidence. So I would agree with you there. But in terms of gathering the evidence with the resources that he had, I think there's some quick thinking on his part.
Well, you make a really good case because, look, not every murder has, perfect evidence. You get what you can get when you can get it. And as far as the ingenuity goes about blood evidence in the snow that's going to melt, I do get it as well. But that also doesn't mean that in court it needs to be accepted. It doesn't mean it's great. It's okay, especially since that grocery bag was used, right? And the solo cups, like you said, we don't know the chain of custody on those. We don't know if they'd actually, but they weren't cups from inside the party house. And that's important because inside the party house, there are all sorts of allegations by the defense that the real killers beat him up and threw him out in the snow and are trying to frame Karen Read. Do you think, listen, Phil, I get it. It sounds crazy when anybody tries to suggest that there's a big cop conspiracy cover-up. It's usually ridiculous. This is one of those cases where it really seems to line up and it doesn't sound so unreasonable. Do you agree?
Well, no, I'm going to use your word. Again, I follow evidence. I don't follow conspiracy theories, and I don't follow what other people are saying, and I don't follow commentary. So I would say that the conspiracy theories that have been thrown into this thing, to use your word, are ridiculous. And what I think the problem the prosecution has is that, and what I've watched of the trial, the witnesses, and I'm talking about the police, I've watched some of their testimony, and look, I'll be frank, it's abysmal. It is not very good. And it is painting this picture that these guys are so complete in their incompetence that that's a distraction for the prosecution. And the defense is jumping on that, and they're taking all of these facts, but they're not leading to the truth. And so, and
yeah, I keep coming back to the taillight. There's a photo of it, and it looks like it's intact when she leaves. And so I keep coming back to that to start me on the process of how could that. But that's for another day, Fil Waters. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.